Hello, welcome to Active Life with Tammy. In today's video, we are going to be doing an all-seated chair yoga for sciatica. Sciatica is a symptom of a lot of other different kinds of diagnosis. It's not a diagnosis in itself. And for this video, we are going to assume that for the level of pain that you're going to be able to sit in a chair upright with reasonable comfort. So if you're experiencing so much pain right now that even sitting upright is causing a lot of pain because that's still putting pressure on the lower back, I will be doing a video in the future that will show you how to do some stretches either laying down on the floor or laying down in bed before you get up in the morning. So for today, go ahead and grab a bottle of water. If you have a resistance band or some kind of a loop band laying around the house, maybe you did rehab in the past and you still have one at home, go ahead and grab it. If you don't have it, no worries. I will show you how to modify without it. You're going to need a nice sturdy chair for sitting in, and you're going to need another chair on hand for the end of our stretch. So go ahead, grab all your items, meet me back here, and we will get started. You're going to start off coming nice and comfortable in your chair, and we're going to leave just a little bit of room between our back and the back of the chair. Okay, sit up nice and tall. You're going to roll your shoulders out wide. Lift your chin so you've got really great posture here. And we're just going to start to move and breathe, taking the movement and the breath as one. Inhale your breath in through your nose. And exhale so that you can hear your breath. Again, breathe in through your nose. See if you can let your breath come down into your belly, feeling the chest relax. Exhale it out. The English nickname for the yoga breath is called ocean breathing. So think of every time you breathe in about the last time you visited the beach and the sound of the ocean. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling out, and being able to hear both the inhale and the exhale. And then adding some very gentle movement. Breathing in, we're going to draw the shoulders back, just stretching across the chest. And then exhale and draw your shoulders forward. So we're just starting to move in the upper back. Breathing in, drawing the shoulders back. Exhale, drawing the shoulders forward. And then coming into more of a full length spinal stretch. Breathe in, and you're going to lift from your tailbone all the way up to your neck, just as far as it's comfortable. So if you're not stretching as much as I am, no worries. Listen to your own body. And then you're going to exhale and try to round the whole spine. Again, thinking of from the tip of your tailbone all the way up into the neck. And we're going to do this a few times. So starting it off really, really gentle. Exhale, rounding the back. And maybe each time you do that, testing out the stretch, testing out the movement as the back warms up, as blood starts flowing. Maybe the movement becomes a little bit bigger, a little bit deeper. Never pushing to the point of pain though. Breathe in, breathe out. So a stretch should always leave us feeling better than when we started, not worse. Breathe in and breathe out. Last one. And then breathe in. And we're just going to come up to a more neutral spine, not flexing, not extending, just sitting up really tall with the shoulders stacked over the hips. We're going to reach down and grab both sides of the chair, and we're going to take that movement and isolate it in the hips, like a little pelvic tilt from a seated position. So we're going to breathe in, and we're going to isolate just this area down through the pelvis, and then exhale and release. So no real movement in the upper body. Shoulders just stay rolled out wide, and we keep the movement centered in the pelvis. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, engage that pelvis, little tilt, and exhale, release it. Couple more times. Breathe in, engage. Exhale, relax. Not a very big movement, but feeling engagement down here. And maybe one more. Breathe in and breathe out. Lovely. All right, back to that neutral position. Shoulders stacked up over the hips. Maybe we'll walk ourselves just a smidgen more forward in the chair. And check with your posture. Bring your hands either to your hips or you can grab onto the chair. And we're going to do little extensions starting on the right side. Going to extend the leg out and then release it down. Follow your breath, other side. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. So this movement is allowing us to gently build some strength in our core. The more we can strengthen the core, both the abdominals and the lower back, the less strain we have on the lower back, and the less likely that sciatica is going to be bothering you. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And if you want to add a little coordination here, we can take the left arm and stretch it out with the right leg. Exhale down and other side. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, and if you want to make it more challenging, take a nice big stretch with that arm, working into the shoulder as well. Inhale, exhale. Coordination is always good for the mind as well as the body. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And if you're not extending the leg out as straight or as high No worries at all. Just do the best you can with it. That's all any of us can ever do. One more time each way. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Nice work. Okay, so we're going to bring ourselves as far forward in our chair as we can comfortably get without feeling like we've lost our center of balance here. And we're going to come out into a hamstring stretch. So we're going to start with the right leg, and you're just going to slide your heel away from you. We're going to take the hands and rest them on the opposite side. Breathe in, roll the shoulders out wide, lift the chest, and then exhale. You're going to start hinging forward from your hip, keeping your chest lifted, keeping your eyes on me. Okay, we're going to come just far enough forward that we feel a nice stretch back here in the hamstring. So even though you might not think that the hamstring would have anything to do with the lower back, hamstring tightness can be a huge cause of sciatic pain because when our hamstring is really tight, it pulls on our psoas muscle, which connects our hip to our lower back. So actually stretching the hamstrings can be a really great way to help relieve sciatic pain. Okay, remembering, stay lifted in the chest. Always keep your eyes on me. If the leg's feeling good here, you can take your toes and pull them in a little closer. Take the stretch a little deeper. And again, your leg might not be perfectly straight here. That's perfectly okay. Just find the spot that's comfortable for you where you're feeling like you're getting a lovely stretch through the back of the leg. We take a little extra time with hamstrings because it's one of the areas that tends to be tight on most population, at least in the West, because we spend a lot of time in seated positions or standing and not a lot of time working on hamstring flexibility. Go ahead and lift those shoulders back up over the hips and then nice and easy, slide that heel back in and let's go right to the other side. Just slide your heel away. Bring the leg as straight as you can. Go ahead, rest the hands on the opposite side for support. Roll your shoulders out wide. Breathe in through your nose to prepare your body for the stretch. And then as we exhale, making room in the body for that stretch, hinge forward from your hip. Keep your chest lifted. Keep your eyes on me. Feel like you're breathing right into that hamstring. Feel it start to lengthen out and relax. Breathing deeply. And again, if you want to, take the toes, bring them a little closer to lengthen out that stretch. And then maybe press gently into those legs. Let that lift the upper body, back up, shoulders over hips. Slide that foot in. Perfect. Okay, we're going to start working on the area around the hips. So we're going to start just with the right side. And maybe toe heel. Just walk that leg out as wide as it will comfortably go. Little pause when you've gotten to that farthest point that's comfortable for you, and then heel toe, walk it back in, and then do the same thing on the other side. Gently walk that leg out to the side or as close as it will comfortably come. When you reach that point, that's the farthest point that's comfortable. You're right on the edge of that stretch. Pause there, and then walk back in. Your right side. Maybe we're going to keep this leg nice and low, a little more smoothly. Take that leg out, and then slide it back in. Other side. Breathe in, slide it out, and exhale, slide it back. Remember that little pause when you take it out. Breathe in, exhale back. Other side. Inhale, and exhale. And maybe a little bigger this time. Maybe lift that leg and take a step out. Little pause, and then step back. Other side. Breathe in and breathe out. One more each way. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, and breathe out. Okay, we're going to work the hip abductors together this time. So if you don't have a resistance band or a loop or something like that, what I want you to do is take your hands, bring them to the outside of your thighs, and I want you to apply a little pressure inward, like you're trying to squeeze your thighs together. Okay, so we're going to press in with the hands, and as we're pushing in with the hands, we're going to press out with the legs. And then you can release that pressure and draw the thighs back together. Okay, so again, apply pressure in with the hands and pressure out with the thighs, working those hips, and then coming back in. Okay, so keep going with that. If you don't have a band or something to give you resistance, if you do have a band, you're going to bring that band looped around the thighs. So we're making a little X at the top, and we're going to use that resistance band, a little strength here, and we're going to press out against that band and release back in. Exhale away and inhale back. Exhale away. Inhale back. Always checking in with your posture. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders over the hips. Even if we're not doing anything else, using good posture is strengthening the core, which helps the lower back. Exhale out. Inhale back. Exhale out. Inhale back. One more time. Exhale out. And this time we're going to hold it there. Maybe you could even do little squeezes outward. 8, 7, 6. Count with me so I know you're breathing. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And very gently release back. Nice work. We're going to go ahead and set that band down. And now we're going to give those hips a little stretch. So if the hips are really super tight, or if you've had like a hip replacement and you need to be careful about crossing the midline of your body, maybe just set one foot on top of the other one. And on the right side, we really want that leg to fall out as wide as you can comfortably get it to go to the side. So notice on the left, I'm nice and even, but on the right, it's like that knee kind of fell over to the side. And then we're going to place the hands on the left thigh. Breathe in and exhale, just like our hamstring stretch. If it's comfortable, lean forward until you feel this nice stretch in the hip. Now, if you don't have issues with hip replacement and you feel like you've got a little more flexibility in through that hip, you can actually cross right over the thigh. And same thing as shoulders stay over the hips. Breathe in. And then with our exhale, again, chest stays lifted, eyes stay looking toward me, and we hinge forward just far enough to feel a comfortable stretch. Some of us won't even need to hinge forward. So think more about where you're feeling a stretch rather than looking at me trying to find the perfect body position, because your body will always tell you where you should be. And just like hamstrings, hips are the second position where most people tend to be a little more on the tight side. And then go ahead, bring the shoulders back up over the hips if they're not already there. Uncross the legs, and we're going to go right to the other side. So remember, if we have had a hip replacement or the hips are unusually tight, go ahead, let the left knee fall out wide. Other foot is on top, or you could even cross over a little bit if you feel like that's okay with you. And then we exhale, hinging forward from the hip. Stop wherever you feel the stretch, or second choice is to cross right over that thigh if that's comfortable. Roll your shoulders out wide and coming forward if you need to feel the stretch. You may not have to come forward. If you do, just remember, lift the chest, keep your eyes on me. So when we start drooping downward, we're not really doing anything more for our hip. We're actually just stretching out the upper back, which generally doesn't need to be stretched out. So staying lifted is better, chest open, and then hinging forward, keeping eyes ahead. So just like with hamstrings, if hips are tight, they pull and tug on the lower back, which is what can cause pain. So stretching the hips is also very, very helpful for relieving lower back pain. And then let's bring the shoulders up over the hips if they're not already there. Relax that leg down. And we're going to end today with a seated child's pose. So here's where you're going to need your extra chair. You're going to bring the other chair in front of you, and I am just going to turn my chair because I think it's going to be a little bit easier for you to see from the side. So the chairs are going to be facing each other. So child's pose tends to be a really good pose for stretching and releasing the lower back, but it can be a very challenging pose for a lot of people to get into because it requires a lot of flexibility in the knees. It requires a lot of flexibility in the hips. And quite frankly, just not everyone has that much flexibility. So we are going to come into our nice sturdy chair and walk our feet a nice comfortable distance apart. So knees are nice and wide. We want our chair reasonable length in front of us. Take a breath in. And when we exhale, we're going to start rolling forward. And we're going to use this chair in front of us for support. So we're going to walk our hands over to the seat of this other chair and round forward. If this is too deep of a stretch, even seated and even with the two chairs, you can always bring the arms up higher to the back of the chair, or even to the very top of it. So lots of options. Find the spot where you feel like that gives you a nice comfortable stretch. And then rounding forward and relaxing the head down as far as you can comfortably get it to go. Feel the release in the lower back and feel the stretch in through the shoulders. Maybe even rock the head out here. Use this position to relax the neck and the shoulders. Now, in a mat class for yoga, we would be able to rest our head down on our mat or down on a block, which we don't have here. So we're not going to hold this pose quite as long as we would in a traditional class. But this is still a really great option for getting some of the benefits of that stretch. Lengthen out through the back. Hold it just one more breath if it's comfortable. If you needed to come up sooner, that's perfectly okay. And then maybe slowly walk the hands back, back to the thighs, and rolling the shoulders out wide. Lovely. Okay, so we're going to walk the feet back together. And then maybe take a nice big stretch up here. And exhale it out. Breathe in. And exhale. So I hope that this little series brought you some relief if you started this in pain. If you found through some of those stretches that your hamstrings or your hips were unusually tight, then maybe do this series regularly to start loosening up the hips and the hamstrings and relieve the lower back. Thank you so much for joining me today, everyone. I hope to see you soon. Namaste.